The gentleman from New York is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your opening statement, you mentioned reviewing thousands of pages of documents related to these charges. Does the committee majority have access to the unedited transcripts of interviews conducted by the Oversight Committee?
You should direct your questions to the witness.
I'm directing my question to the chairman. Parliamentary inquiry. And please stop the clock. It's a parliamentary inquiry.
We do not think so.
You do not think that the majority has access?
No.
Well, I would request that the minority, at least, if the majority wishes, that's your prerogative, that I would request the minority have access to these documents.
The chair will take your request under advisement as we ascertain whether or not your question is answered in the affirmative. If so, then we obviously think it should be.
Well, we're going forward with impeachment hearings that are the purview of this committee. I think this committee ought to see all the relevant evidence, but that's self-evident. Let me just say, before I ask Mr. Koskinen some questions, that Mr. Jordan's questions, wasn't this true then? Yes. Did you know it was true then? No. Did you tell the truth then as you knew it? Yes. That fact pattern shows nothing about impeachment, obviously. All it shows is that he didn't know at the time he was asked the question. He told the truth as he then knew it. Mr. Koskinen, thank you, Commissioner, thank you for being here. The Senate Finance Committee, the Department of Justice, and the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration have all looked into the accusations against you, and each of them has independently concluded there is no evidence to support these charges. Your critics have not made their case, nor do they have the votes to force impeachment on the House floor, and these proceedings are an obvious sham. But because you are an expert on tax policy, I do think it serves some purpose to shed some light on how you as the IRS Commissioner understand some of the work of the IRS. If someone, is there anything that would prohibit someone from releasing their tax returns if they want to because they're under audit?
No.
Thank you. Now, President Nixon discloses tax returns while under IRS audit. Have the rules changed since then?
No.
Can an individual use other people's money run through a charitable foundation to enrich himself or satisfy his personal debts or obligations?
The rules are that would be personal inurement. No tax-exempt organization can benefit, use its funds to benefit any, in effect, insider.
Would the following factors affect the tax exemption of a foundation? If an individual used funds from his charitable foundation to purchase a $12,000 football helmet for himself, signed by Tim Tebow, if an individual used $20,000 from the foundation to pay for a 6-foot-tall portrait of himself, if an individual used $100,000 of the foundation's money to cover part of a legal settlement after a dispute with the municipal government, or if he used $158,000 to settle a dispute with a disgruntled participant at a celebrity golf tournament, were any of those actions using tax-exempt foundation monies improper, and if so, would they jeopardize the tax exemption of the foundation?
I can't comment on individual
I'd like you to answer the question, sir.
I object to the question in that it's outside the scope of this hearing. Additionally, it's outside the scope and expertise of the witness.
That's not a proper parliamentary inquiry.
The rules of the committee would permit the gentleman to ask the question, and the commissioner is requested to answer it.
Clearly, the general rules are understood that a 501c's assets should not be used to benefit either a major contributor or anyone operating the entity. The particular facts and circumstances of any case would need to be reviewed carefully and
obviously, but if those were the facts that I just said, would they be improper?
All I can tell you is that the rules are clear, and it would be up to a set of people who do this regularly at the IRS to investigate and make a determination as to whether, in fact, the tax exemption of that organization was still viable.
Commissioner, in your opinion, if a fact pattern like this one were brought to the attention of the IRS, and the IRS failed to investigate it, would that be a dereliction of duty or even an impeachable offense?
The Commissioner does not make a determination as to about any audit or investigation. We get referrals, suggestions, sometimes might review urgings to look into a wide range of activities of not only tax-exempt organizations, but others. Those are referred to a detailed process internally, and
Thank you.
it's
I
not
have-
my role to make that
Thank you. I have one
determination.
last question, and that is, at the time you were appointed by the president, why did he ask you to come out of retirement and appoint you to the head of the IRS? What mission? What did he take? What mission did he give you?
Actually, I did not talk to the president personally. I talked to Secretary Liu, who I knew from years ago, and White House personnel. And the reason I was asked was obvious. The IRS had made a terrible management mistake. I've spent 45 years of my career managing organizations under stress, including in the private sector and the public sector. And it was obvious to me, just reading the paper, that there was a problem that needed to be fixed, and I was honored to be asked and pleased to undertake the responsibility.
Thank you very much. My time has expired.